Hello, everyone. So I want to ask you a question. What skill set, what background, what degrees do you think you need to work in the space sector? I'll give you some time to answer, some time to think. I'll give you a hint. It's a trick question because any background, any degree, any field that you come from can work in the space sector. We, in fact, need all kinds of people to work in the space sector. Hi, my name is Laura Forsick. I am a scientist and a small business owner. I also help clients with their transitions into the space sector through coaching, whether that is clients who already are in the space sector or people who have not yet had the opportunity to work in the space sector. Let me tell you a story. Back when I was 19 years old, I was a freshman at the Florida Institute of Technology, which is in Melbourne, Florida, about an hour south of Kennedy Space Center. And that first year, I was really interested in working for NASA. I wanted a NASA internship. I wanted to work at Kennedy Space Center. And so I contacted the education department there, and they told me that I needed to be an engineering major to be an intern at Kennedy Space Center. And I was so disappointed, and I considered, well, I'm an astrophysics major. Do I want to switch over to engineering? It wouldn't be that bad of a switch. It's very similar math requirements, very similar, basic science requirements. But I realized I really liked being a scientist, and so I didn't want to switch over to engineering. So I temporarily gave up on that dream. I ended up working at a university for 2 summers in a row as a research associate, and then my junior year, between my junior and senior year, is when I got a NASA internship at Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama. And that's when I began to realize that actually I was not told the truth. You do not need to be an engineer to work at Kennedy Space Center, to work at NASA, to work in the space sector. And in fact, the person I asked probably was misunderstanding my question or did not have the right information, because there were science interns back then. Today, NASA has interns not just for scientists and engineers, but also for communicators, history, art. They take all kinds because all kinds are needed. Pretty sure business interns are included at NASA right now too. And that really shows the diversity of people and backgrounds that are required to operate, to design, to communicate with the public, to do all the things that we need to do in space. So I have clients come to me and they do not have a STEM background, STEM being science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. When they do not have a STEM background, they ask me, do I need to go back to school to get a STEM degree? And I tell them, no, no, you do not. You can if you want to. And some of my clients do choose to go back to school, but you do not have to. You can use whatever background, whatever skill set you already have, and use transferable skills, or in fact, sometimes it's directly using the skills and experiences that you have, especially business, finance, communications, art. There's so many different skills that are not necessarily even transferable skills, but direct skills for direct jobs in the space sector. I have in front of me right here a list of, I've worked with over 75 clients and their backgrounds, and I can just tell you a lot of them are scientists and engineers. And by the way, not just aerospace engineers, but all kinds of engineers. So you got, civil, mechanical, electrical, software. In fact, software engineering is probably the #1 skill set that I hear that companies really need. So if you have coding skills, you're pretty golden right now. But aside from those STEM majors, I see finance, law, sales, philosophy, economics. I mean, the list goes on and on. One of my favorites was dental hygiene. You can really take whatever skill set you have and use that. Either use those skills directly or use skills that you want to take forward. Business is the same. Finance is the same. I mean, communication, marketing, real estate. Real estate was one of my clients that decided to go back to school for an astronomy degree. And so these are the kinds of things to think about, is what skills do you have with whatever background you have, and how do you apply it in the space sector? Or one of my clients right now actually has a sales background. He does not want to go into sales. He wants to switch to something else. So what kind of skills do you have that you can use in a different type of job? Or do you need to go back for another credential, another degree of some kind? And this is something that I help my clients to determine. But if you're curious and you think, oh, I need to go back to school and get a STEM degree if I'm going to work in the space sector, you do not. You do not. In fact, a lot of times the engineers who run businesses are not necessarily the best people who to be running businesses. I myself am a scientist. I started my own business. I really wish that I had had more of a business background, business education, because it was a lot of trial and error. Very rough first years, I can tell you. So there are a lot of things that we need people who have non-STEM degrees to really show us how to do things that traditionally people who have STEM degrees in the space sector take on. And so maybe we need less people running businesses who are engineers and more people who have those kinds of skill sets. Same with marketing, communications, so many different skill sets. If you have multiple skill sets, if you are a really good communicator and you are something else, that can be really great too. Think of the ways you can combine your skill sets as well to make something very valuable and something very marketable for you in the space sector. If you have any interest in having guidance in this area, just contact me. Write a comment here or contact me directly, and I'll be happy to help you determine how you can use whatever skills and background degrees you have to know how to move forward into the space sector, whether you are currently working in the space sector and you want to switch to something else, or whether you have not yet worked in the space sector and you want to figure out how to get in. So I'd be happy to talk to you. Thanks so much.